So, no question, I think it's a bit of fatigue. So maybe you would be happy to stop, but I have some questions. So maybe a question to Nick and Solène, because I saw in your two presentations that finally passenger flows and all the turnaround on the platform is key to your two business. And I see AI application on each side. Maybe do you think it's good? Don't you think it will not increase, in fact, inconsistency between the two? And you lose all the effect of better prediction if on each side you have your own prediction. So I don't know who takes the floor. First, Nick, maybe? Or because the microphone is working? Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. I guess it's all quite new. So I think all parties are probably still in a pilot and test phase. And there's a really interesting relationship always between airlines and airports, because of course there's clearly not a one-to-one relationship. So, and then you've got a ground handler operation in the mix as well, who have also got their own optimization. So it's a classic case of partnering, essentially, and working together and making sure we're all aligned, I think. But it's not simple.
So you are confident that at a certain point in time they will work together. So
no, yeah, I must agree. I think we are exploring things with our main airport, which is Aéroport de Paris, because you have to understand that we are working together, but we have some information that is relevant for both businesses. The Aéroport de Paris has information that is relevant for our business and the way around, right? So of course, for some cases it's a win-win situation. So we should explore, I think. Yeah, I must agree it's a partnering situation, and we need to handle it carefully. Yeah.
If I understand well, they have not yet started common AI project.
That's true for us, certainly. But what I would say is we're very aligned in a common objective. It's good for the airline, it's good for the airport. So I don't think there's any obstacle. I think it's more about just the partnering aspect of it.
So it's maybe too early to say that it's not working. Okay. I have another question to, so then it's okay, you have made, okay, to André, because I see that the conflict detection, you are using reinforcement learning, so it means it's based on simulation. And as I passed, in fact, simulation is perfect. In RTD we have a great simulator, but it's not perfect. Noise, in particular, is not always reflected. And on MTCD, is where there is a problem. Because if you look at operator, the ATC controllers, they learn by experience, day by day, after day, they have always the same traffic pattern, and they know that, oh, for this one, we have not to take any action, because maybe by accident, it will pass. So sometimes they take decision 20 minutes ahead, sometimes it's only 5 minutes ahead. And so it's where, and if you are on a simulation, it's always perfect, because the traffic, despite you include some noise, the prediction is better. So for me, okay, it's not only to make a critic, but that means for sometimes you need to have a customer for this type of tool and to use real data. Especially you mentioned, we have not access to the pattern of decision of the controller. If you had access of really historical data, how the controller worked, your technique will work, or you will have completely to change the logic to learn from the controller and not anymore from a reinforcement learning technique?
Well, to answer this, actually, at the beginning, we first started to look at controller data, and we started to work with one of our clients and try to emulate a human being based on his actions in our system. So the problem here was that when a controller is performing a certain action, we never know exactly what is the reasoning behind it. So that is the big issue. And even if we have access to what the controller is inputting into our system, we do not really know the complete reasoning behind the inputs that he is making into a system. And this would be required if we want to really and truly emulate his behavior. So regarding the data, and this is one of the reasons we decided to go with reinforcement learning, because we have traffic data, and we do not necessarily need the inputs or the changes that were made. As long as we know what the aircrafts actually flew in the real world, then we can initialize the simulation based on this, and we can learn by probing and generating new flight plans based on a modification, a clearance. And as long as the way we are computing these new flight plans and the way we are detecting the conflicts is perfectly aligned between the simulation that is fed real-world data, historical real-world data, then we can be sure that if we apply this solution in our system, it's not going to generate a new MTCD conflict. It's going to solve it. But like you said, sometimes the optimal thing perhaps is to
wait. To wait.
To wait. And this is also one aspect that we've investigated. Actually, we've tried to force the neural networks and experimented with various cost functions in order to teach it to react later or sooner. And we've experimented a lot with this, but it's still experimental. So we didn't yet found really the best possible way to do it, but I think we are getting close. And in any case, we are looking at this type of functions with neural networks, not in the next few years, but maybe perhaps in 5 years, 6, 7 years. Like we've seen also right now, we are unable to certify it. So it's definitely going to be a lot of work in order to put something like this in operation.
And have you some prospect in terms of customers just to make continuous experimentation in shadow mode or in live trials? Not really on the operational position, but just on shadow mode?
Well, right now we didn't do shadow experimentation with the clients, but we did a lot of experimentation with air traffic controllers that use the classical resolver, so without the neural network, the one that is slower, and they found it quite acceptable. Actually, some of them even gave it a name, and they said he's acting like a novice controller sometimes, and sometimes it's quite proficient and is providing good solutions. So we are going to continue these experimentations with our clients, and hopefully in the near future we can begin experimenting with this new approach that combines the neural network with the classical approach.
Okay, thank you. Any question from the room? Yes, the fatigue is there. Alain, you want to conclude?